Well, welcome to Spooky-Ree, our parent leader orientation. My name is Lindsay Nolan, and I will be your camp director this year. So this webinar is being recorded. So that way, if anybody that didn't make it can easily find it, we will have it on the website, as well as we'll be sending a link out. So at the end of the orientation, there will be a Q&A for anyone to ask any questions that they need answered. Here we go.
Camping is a long-honored tradition for many families, including the BSA family. A Campout safety checklist will help ensure the adventure, fun, discovery, and teamwork are accomplished while keeping you safe. When you decide on a camping trip, you need to consider who, what, where, when, how, and why. Here are a few items to check off your Campout safety checklist. Documentation. This includes medical records, guidebooks, and permission slips. A scout leader can ensure your safety as well as his or her own when you are both better informed of any limitations, hazards, or permissions. General training such as youth protection training, CPR, first aid, and hazardous weather, or specific training such as trek safely or wilderness first aid, gives you the confidence to know what to do in the event of an emergency. Planning is important. Become familiar with your campsite location and do some research about the weather, licensing permit requirements, and project or activity guidelines. Plan for vehicles involved or tools necessary for your camping experience, and first aid or emergency kits. Keep a cell phone handy, as well as a list of local authorities in case an emergency occurs, such as inclement weather or a lost scout. If you are in the backcountry, canyons, or a remote location, coverage may be 1 to 2 hours away. A GPS tracking or messaging device is helpful in these locations. There should be age-appropriate activities, safety equipment, proper supervision, and a discussion on potential hazards. Find more tips and resources for this and other safety moments at the Scouting Safely website on scouting.org.
All right, so this year, our dates are, we have Spooky-Ree happening at Woodruff Scout Camp on the weekend of September 24th. And then our Burt Adams weekend are weekends. Our weekend 1 is October 8th, weekend 2 is October 15th, and weekend 3 is October 22nd.
I'm going to talk to you about what the purposes of Spooky-Ree and family camping. We are putting this program on to strengthen families through scouting. We want to provide a fun and safe opportunity for all of our families, especially our new families that are coming into scouting. Our COVID protocols for this, we have adjusted it based on the Delta variant and what we're seeing in the community, and we want to provide a safe opportunity for you. So we are requiring masks during our program times. While you're in your campsites, your group can make the decision on what you want to do with masks, but while you're in the program areas, we ask that everyone wear their masks that are able. We've reduced our capacity at camps to 33% of what our normal capacity is, and that's to help keep families feel comfortable and safe. We will require a health screening upon entry. We have scheduled program activities, and Megan, our program director, will go into that more in detail when we get closer to that slide. The trading post will be open, and we will have limited numbers in the trading post at each time. Program activities will sanitize in between the groups. All of our camp-wide ceremonies and our campfire, we will have plenty of space in between so that you guys will be socially distanced. We are limiting all of our activities to outdoor spaces, and if there is rain, we will have alternate rain locations that will be under pavilions and still outside. We have dedicated staff that will help clean the bathhouses during the program times, and we have sanitation stations that will be around the camp and at each station so that you can sanitize in between.
We have some additional options available to everybody. We have extra shirts that you can purchase, as well as we are offering meals Saturday if you want breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That will be $25 per person. And then Sunday, we have a continental breakfast for Sunday morning, and that's $5 a person.
Now I get to unmute myself and talk about the program, and you've seen some of these fun images spin through. We are planning on running each weekend with groups in quadrants, we're saying. So you're going to move through 4 kind of anchor activities with then some other things around them. We're going to have a lot of opportunities for our Cubs to practice and play around in shooting sports. We're going to have opportunities for them to do some leather work, for some fishing, and then we're going to have a fun maker space Rube Goldberg type experience where they get to do some fun things like that, in addition to all of the classic things that we do at Spooky-Ree. A haunted hayride. There's going to be an opportunity for lots of fun with costumes. We have a really cool photo booth, a robot photo booth that's going to be available to have your pictures taken to make some memories. And we're really looking at some super fun things as far as the program goes. We also have a dedicated space. We're calling it our mini monster maker space for our youngest children who are there who aren't yet old enough to be scouts. We know that they have some different needs when they're there with their families. So kind of a place for families who have very young children with them to have a place to kind of chill out and take a break, and have some activities for very young children to do to keep them a little occupied. We do have some special guests. I mentioned the photo booth. This is a picture of our robot photo booth coming. And then one of the things that I'm most excited about, Michael Green, the science machine, is coming to help us with our opening activity the Saturday morning of each Spooky-Ree. If you haven't seen the science machine, he is completely awesome. And I think it's going to be a really great way for us to kick the day off.
All right, our arrivals start at 4 p.m. on Friday. There will be screening going on at the gate, health screening. We also have pre-screening that will be available. Individuals that come for units, you're going to come to the staff headquarters at Burt Adams, or you will, and all of this information is in your parent and leader guide. So you'll come to either staff headquarters at Burt Adams or to the main pavilion area at Woodruff. But those are for units. If you are an individual, we would really like you to check in at the health lodge with the nurse. And then late check-in. Well, actually, we have a slide for that. I'm sorry. Parking. So parking passes will actually be emailed out to you before the event. So that will kind of tell you which parking lot is going to be closest to your campsite and where you should go. Once you arrive at camp, unload your things. We would like all the cars to be out of the campsites and back into the lots by 9 p.m. And we do all this so that way there is plenty of room on the roads for any emergency vehicles to get in and out of the campsites. For Saturday arrivals, you can come in. The roads round program are going to be closed during the day. So if you get there right when program starts, just go ahead and go get with your unit, start the program, and then you can always go to your campsite as soon as program's done, finish setting up your campsite. And things like that.
So medical forms are required while you're at camp. If you are going with your unit will collect and hold on to your part A and B of the medical forms. If you are a family and you're going on your own without your unit, according to NCAP procedures, you will need to go to the health office, and our health officer will hold on to your part A and B form for you in case something happens at camp.
For Saturday arrivals, so I was jumping ahead of myself before. So Saturday arrivals at the Woodruff Scout Camp, if you are camping with us that weekend, you will check in at the health lodge with the nurse. If at Burt Adams, you will check in at the camp office, which is located directly beneath the Love Dining Hall.
Youth protection training. All of our families are encouraged to take youth protection training so that you understand how we make scouting safe. But I want to highlight some of the more important ones. First, 2 deep leadership. This is a family event, and what you may not realize is if you go off with your child, somebody else doesn't know if it's your child. So make sure that you do two deep leadership at all time to make sure that all the scouts and yourself are safe. No one-on-one contact, which leads itself to that two deep leadership. You want to respect the privacy of others. So don't have your youth changing outside where they can be seen. Make sure that they're in their tent by themselves. Do not share tents with anyone that's not a family member. That's part of the separate accommodations. Buddy system, no scout travels alone. Make sure that your kids, if they're going out and playing, they take a buddy or two along with them for safety. And there is no group tenting allowed. If you have any questions on youth protection, put them in that Q&A and we'll answer them later. Oh, restrooms, that's mine too. In all of our camp grounds, we have bathhouses that have single-use bathrooms. That means they are open to any sex, any age, because they're single-use bathrooms. There are a couple of bathhouses that have, they're labeled youth. That's for the boy youth, and those are larger bathhouses that have multiple bathrooms in them. But all of the adults and the females and youth females will use the single stall bathrooms.
Emergency procedures for anyone that joined us last year. We might have ran into a little bit of rough weather. So we are, a scout is always prepared. So we do have emergency procedures. They are in the parent and leader guide. We have updated them and attached them to the parent leader guide. So the new one is out on the website that you can actually download on atlantabsa.org. Weather. So this is a rain or shine event. It's gonna happen. So come prepared. Bring ponchos, rain gear, things like that. Be prepared to get wet if that happens. We do have backups as far as rain locations and things like that. Another very helpful thing to do is to go on to my.scouting.org and take the hazardous weather training. It is very helpful, and it kind of goes through what to do in all different types of hazardous weathers.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to take just a moment to address communication while you're at camp. As we all know, despite best laid plans, sometimes things change. Plans change, and we kind of have to pivot at the last minute. As Lindsay was just talking about, in the case of severe weather, we may have to change program locations, or we may just have some general information that would be helpful for you all to know. We're going to accomplish that by using the Remind app. In order to join your specific weekend group, you can simply text the @ symbol and the week 1, week 2, so on and so forth. And you can text that to 81010, and that will join you to the group. And that way you will be kept abreast of any information that we're trying to get out throughout the weekend. So go ahead and download the Remind app or text that @ sign to 81010 and share with the other parents in your unit.
At camp, pets are not allowed of any type. So, however, if you do have a service animal that you need to bring at camp, please let us know. So that way we can let the camp rangers know, and we can contact the people accordingly. For any of the smokers, Burt Adams and Woodruff are tobacco-free facilities. So any adults that need to use tobacco, we have secluded areas fenced in behind the dining hall. And actually Woodruff is the same one. It's behind the dining hall. And this does include vapes, e-cigarettes, cigars, chewing tobaccos, and things like that. And camp rules, you will also find these in your parent and leader guide. You will find a list of camp rules, and these are things to keep us safe, because even though we want to have fun, we also want to be safe and make sure everyone is safe. Sunday checkout. So we would like to have all the units and individuals checked out by 10. That way us volunteers and staff can finish cleaning up and getting everything ready to go for that next weekend. So please check in with camp staff before you leave. All units are expected to leave their campsites better than the way they found them. All units are expected to help clean up the bathhouses that they used. So not all of them, just the one that you used. And then all of your trash, you can bag up all of your trash and take it to the dumpsters that will be located behind the dining hall. And last but not least, questions and comments. So let her rip.
So far, we only had one question that popped up in the chat. The question was, in light of the current COVID wave, will we be offering remote boxes like last year? And I typed an answer that said we hadn't talked about that yet. It was something that we could discuss if we needed to as things move forward, but we hadn't talked about a box yet. So there's a question, if we don't sign up for the food option, will individual packs be bringing their own food to cook? And absolutely. I think if you're traveling with the units will be bringing their own food to cook. There's a question about more than one copy of med forms, and you need one for your unit to keep. Do you need 2 copies? You just need one for your unit to keep there, staying with the unit.
I will add that the menu is now up on the website too. We just got that from Jennifer Sorrells, who is our summer camp cook at Burt, and she will be cooking all weekends at all locations.
Someone is asking, is purchased food still be served in the dining hall? So the way we kind of have it set up right now is breakfast and dinner will be at the dining hall, and it will be going in shifts. So we will have group A and group B to kind of move things through and not get too clustered. What we have done for lunch this year is we've kind of made lunch more like a kiosk that's going to be outside the dining hall. So that way we'll have sandwiches, things like that. So it's more of a grab and go. So you can grab it and get right back to all the fun.
There's a question. It's our first time attending. Is there a certain age range that is geared towards, or is it appropriate for the younger Cubs too? This is planned for all Cub Scouts. So this is something that is available for Lions all the way through AOLs. We've got activities that will meet everybody's needs, and something to keep everybody interested.
Us adults have a lot of fun too. Just saying.
And there's a question about reservations. We're not doing reservations for activities, but you'll be traveling in kind of like a quadrant. You'll be traveling with a group that will go through quadrants of activities. So you won't have a registration, but you will have an assigned time when your group will be in a certain area. And shooting sports is one of those areas, but you don't have to register for that. You'll just be putting an assigned time for that.
I have a question of, will there be trick-or-treating this year? So yes. So we definitely wanted to make sure that we have something similar to trick-or-treating. So it won't quite be trick-or-treating, but we are definitely going to have something similar. But so yes, there's going to be candy. Trust us, it's going to be fun. Did anyone answer the first time attending? Is there a certain, or not that one, but the one about the packing list?
I was typing an answer right now. It said, do
Megan's
individual
typing it.
dens send out a packing list? And I wonder if you mean units. If you're traveling with your unit, they'll probably give you some suggested things because different units bring different things to camp. And unless your unit has tents they provide, you will need to provide your own tent. But different units provide different sorts of things. So I check with your unit. If you're not attending with your unit, you can reach out to us and let us know. We'll get you a suggested list of things to bring.
Units do not need to bring candy if you don't want to. So we actually have our troops are the ones who are participating in the trick or treat event. So, but if you want to bring candy, you can.
And also somebody asked about if you need tents. If you do not have a tent and you are not paying to stay in the adventure tents, just send email to me, C. Drabeck at atlantabsa.org. I'll put it in the chat, and we can make some available for you.
We have an answer or a question about, with the units moving in smaller groups, will the schedule for activities be more structured like an adventure camp, or will it be around the same amount of free time as Spooky-Ree's in the past? Well, last year, our Spooky-Ree, we were very structured because we needed to be. So we're kind of in between this year. So we have some structure and some things that schedule. And then we have also those stations for the just people to kind of come and go as they want, if they need to rest, if they need to have some quiet time, and if they need to break free from a schedule. So we kind of got a mix of both. So it's kind of in between.
We're getting multiple questions on the tents. At Burt Adams, there are adventure tents that are available for purchase. It's $25 and there's 4 beds in each one. So it's a wooden bed with a light mat that's in there. So you can purchase that if you don't want to bring a tent. Otherwise, you do need to bring a tent. And like I said, if you need help, we'll see if we can help you get a tent.
And Dave, I'm getting ready to type in the link of where to find the parent guide in just a minute.
Adam asked a question about recommendations for safe pack cooking. I think that is up to you as a pack and what you feel comfortable with. Certainly you can have each family do their own cooking. There are different types of cooking you can do as a pack that is more safe, like doing foil packs and that kind of stuff and preparing your own foil pack. So just work that out with your pack or your dens to figure that part out.
I'm going to answer this one live and type it in. Do all sites have power outlets and water? No, all sites will have water. Not all sites have power outlets. So if there is electricity that you need, like CPAP machines, things like that, please let us know. So that way we can make sure that we're prepared and we get you in a campsite where we've got electricity and a way for you to hook up medical machines.
Lindsay, there was a question about with reduced capacity, will there be more than one unit at a campsite? And the plan right now is to only have one unit at a campsite for tracking purposes and things like that with COVID, as far as I know. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we wanted to keep our capacity down at 33%. So that way we weren't squishing anybody in. Is this only for Cub Scouts, or would our Scout sister also be able to join? Bring her on. It's for everybody. All ages. Bring grandma too. Just bring everybody.
There's a question about registering for one of the adventure tents. I think that's when you do your registration. When you register initially, you have that choice. And I'm not the best person to walk you through the registration process because I haven't done it in a moment.
I will tell you, if you need help, you can call the office or call me, and this is Charity, and we can get you signed up for the adventure tents. I think they might come up under products at Burt Adams.
And if you can't get a hold of Charity, Charla is Tentaru Guru. So she is our registrar. So one of us will be able to help you.
I'm not showing any more open questions in the Q&A. Yes, there will be time to return to your campsite for lunch on Saturday during the program. There's a lunch break.
There's some questions in the chat too.
Yeah, I was just going to type some of that out, but I will say weekends 3 and 4 are almost at our cap of 800. So if you haven't registered, you need to go ahead and get registered. Talk to your pack leader. And if they've decided not to go as a pack, you can certainly sign up as an individual. You do not need to go with your pack.
And yes, you can absolutely reserve an AC tent, which I believe is what you're meaning by a yurt. You can absolutely reserve an AC tent at Burt Adams for only 2 of you.
Chair Lindsay, there was a question about bicycle activities, and I honestly don't know the rule about bicycles during camp.
We don't have a bicycle activity, but Burt Adams does allow bicycles. Woodruff does not. Woodruff does not allow scooters or bicycles because those hills are just too dangerous.
Just remember to bring your helmet to be safe, because you can't ride a bike without the helmet.
There's a question about handicap accessibility. Are all the areas handicap accessible?
I believe so.
Burt, I think they are more accessible than Woodruff. Woodruff is handicap accessible, but it's more hilly because it's up in the Georgia mountains. So I would say Burt is probably a little flatter and easier to get around with if you have mobility issues. If you
I was
need,
gonna,
yeah, if you have needs with handicap, yeah, Nikki, you can answer this, but
I was
let
gonna
us
pop
know.
on for this one. If you're looking at handicap accessibility, I would suggest going to a Bird Adams weekend just because of how hilly Woodruff is. It'd be easier to get around Bird Adams.
We will have some fishing gear. There was a question on there if we need to bring our own poles or gear. We will have a limited number, but you might want to bring your own if you have it. We will have bait available though.
And we will even have poles for the little ones that don't have hooks if they want to practice.
Do not need a license to fish on the campsite.
At Bird Adams, do you need a license?
Oh, I just answered no. Maybe I'm mistaken.
Youth under 16 do not need a license. And I'll have to double check on the adults because I think if it's on
private property,
Private
then
property.
as long as they get permission from the owner.
right, I'm not sure if Woodruff is completely private, so I'd have to get that answered, but I think you're fine.
Ooh, it's like a game of stump the staff. Bring on another one.
Any more questions?
I'm not seeing anything that hasn't been answered. If you have a question that hasn't been answered, type it in the chat or send it to us again and let us know. If not, I think we're done with questions.
I want to thank Megan and Lindsay and the entire team that has put all this time in for you guys. I hope that you guys will enjoy your time while you're at camp. And please tell the rest of your scouting families to come join us because this is one of the best events of the year.